everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about the books that I plan on reading in the month of February. So for February, there are a couple of books that I know I have to read due to book clubs or buddy reads, but the rest of the book selections I am going to leave up to my roll the dice TBR game, which I'm very excited to be bringing back to the channel. I have a goal of completing series this year, so a lot of the books that are going to be selected from are just going to be all of the different sequels I need to get through and read. So hopefully this is a month of sequels and completing some fun buddy reads and book club books. So first, let's talk about the books I know I have to read. The first being the Shelf Space book club pick for the month of February, which is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. February's guest host is going to be Charles from Books on Stereo, who is fantastic and whose channel I will link down below. I was really excited when this was one of his suggestions. It's one I've been wanting to read really badly, and I've been seeing so much hype for it going around the community recently. A lot of people are loving this book. This is a book that is a newer release from this author. I believe it was just released towards the end of last year, and it follows a fantasy world that is based on pre-Columbian American history, which is so cool, so different than anything else I've read. So I'm really excited. I've heard that the world building is pretty spectacular. So that is first. The next book I know I have to read is the buddy read I'm doing with Elle over at Elliot Brooks. Every month we are buddy reading one book together, and at the end of the month, for at least these first 3 months of the year, we are doing live shows over on Elle's channel. So if you want to join us with our buddy reads, you are more than welcome to. You are all invited to those live shows. Our February book pick is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I'm really excited for this one as well. I've heard it's a King Arthur young adult fantasy retelling. The cover's spectacular. I've heard the characters are fantastic in this. I've heard the magic is really cool. I know that Neeks absolutely loved this book. She had me so hype to read it. If you haven't checked out Neeks' channel, I'm going to link it down below because she is so fantastic. So I'm really excited to be getting to this one, and hopefully you will be interested in joining Elle and I as we buddy read this. And the final book that I know I have to read this month that is actually a part of a new book club that was created by a bunch of the mods over on the Shelf Space Discord server. A lot of folks over there have a big interest in reading more indie and self-published books, which I am all for. I love that idea so much. So they decided to create a sister server to Shelf Space called the Shelf Published In. How cute. I love that name. Essentially just an extension of Shelf Space that is focused solely on self-published and indie books and authors. And what's really cool about this particular server is that every month there will be a read-along of a self-published book. We'll also invite the authors for Q&A style discussions over in the server so that you can actually interact directly with the author if that's something that you've really been wanting to do. I think it's fantastic. I'm so excited to be joining in with the rest of the crew over on that server. I'm going to link that server down below if you do want to join. Please feel free. Our February pick that we are reading is Wildcat by J.P. Harker, that I believe follows this warrior who is this mom and this wife, which already I'm so intrigued by. I love moms in fantasy books, especially like kick-ass moms. I think that's so awesome. So I'm really excited to be reading this as well. All right, and then for the rest of the book picks, I'm going to leave it up to the TBR game. So let's go ahead and start rolling the dice. All right, roll number 1. That's number 1. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to roll this the most out of all of them, and it is Valor by John Gwynne, the sequel to Malice, which I loved. So this will be book number 1, and I will erase and replace. And I have replaced that with Raybearer by Jordan E. Fueco. So let's do roll number 2. Number 3. That is Caliban's War by James S.A. Corey. This is book number 2 in the Expanse series, so I am excited to be continuing on with this series. And I've replaced that with Ring Shout by P. DeJelly Clark, and we will do roll number 3. Number 11. That is A Vow So Bold and Deadly, which I don't currently own, but is the 3rd and final book in the Curse Breakers trilogy, which I loved. A Curse So Dark and Lonely, A Heart So Fierce and Broken, not quite as much, but I'm excited to see how this trilogy ends. So that will be book number 3. And I have replaced that with Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft, so let's do roll number 4. Number 9, that is Mind of My Mind by Octavia Butler. This is the sequel to Wild Seed, which I really enjoyed from last year, so I'm very excited to be continuing on with the Pattern Master series. That will be book number 4. And I have replaced that with Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. So let's do roll number 5. That is number 8, which is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang, the 3rd and final book in the epic Poppy War trilogy. I'm so excited to finish off this series. I just read The Dragon Republic this month. Oh my god, I loved it. So yay, I can't wait for this. And I have replaced that with Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, so we will do roll number 6. And that is number 5. That is The Broken Eye by Brent Weeks, the 3rd book in the Lightbringer series, which I'm really enjoying. So I'm very excited to be continuing on with this series. So that is the 6th and final book for this Roll the Dice TBR. All right, so I am super excited about these rolls because, again, I wanted to focus more on sequels this month, and I'm not planning on getting to every single one of these books, but this just gives me a good idea of which sequels to choose from depending on my mood for the month. So the first one is Valor by John Gwynne. I've actually, not gonna lie, already started this because I wanted to read this so bad. I was just so in the mood for it. I'm about 100 pages in now, and already it's just an extension of The End of Malice, and The End of Malice is so fantastic. So I'm already loving it. I love these characters. I love this world. I love the politics. John Gwynne, his writing, it speaks to me. I just love it so much. So really excited about this one. I also have The Broken Eye by Brent Weeks, which is the 3rd book in the Lightbringer series. I have been loving this series so far. I think it's such a fantastic magic system. I love the characters so much in this. And the fast-paced writing style, it is just nonstop. I have to keep turning the pages. They're so addictive. So I'm really excited to be continuing on with this series potentially this month. The Burning God by R.F. Kuang, the 3rd and final book in the Poppy War trilogy. I read The Dragon Republic last month. My wrap-up will be coming where I talk about my thoughts on The Dragon Republic, but it was fantastic. I loved it. Spoiler alert. And so I am so excited to be reading The Burning God next. I have to prepare myself emotionally for this book and this ending because I've heard so many mixed things about it. I know that Alan and Abby weren't big fans of the ending, and man, it scares me because I usually agree with them on different types of books that we read together, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I have heard from other people, I know Jessie from the Bookish Mom, she loved it. So I'm scared, I'm hopeful. I really hope I like this. We also have Caliban's War by James S.A. Corey, the 2nd book in the Expanse series. I read Leviathan Wakes last October for shelf space, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty darn good enough for me to continue on with the series. I've heard that the series gets better and better with each book, and that each book kind of introduces you to a new cast of characters. So I'm really excited because the characters were some of the weakest parts of the 1st book in my opinion. So I'm excited to see if we get kind of a new cast of characters, if that'll help me enjoy the books even more so. We've also got Mind of My Mind by Octavia Butler, which is the second book in the Pattern Master series. And I read Wild Seed last year, really found it very unique. I loved the writing style, really enjoyed the characters, and I've heard that it's kind of a prequel book to the Pattern Master series. So I'm curious to see how this next book handles the time jump between Wild Seed and Mind of My Mind. So I'm very much wanting to read all the Octavia Butler this year, so this one will be next on the list. And then we've got A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the third and final book in the Curse Breakers trilogy. I loved A Curse So Dark and Lonely that I read last year. A Heart So Fierce and Broken, not as much. I did not like the characters as much that we follow in the second book as I liked the characters from the first book. So I am curious because I know that we get perspectives from both books in this last book. So I'm very curious as to see what I think of this conclusion. I have hopes that I will love it as much as I loved A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Hopefully it is an awesome conclusion to this trilogy. A couple of other books I might be choosing from this month include Atomic Habits by James Clear, which I've already started. It's kind of my morning coffee read. As I have my coffee in the morning, I'll read like a chapter from this book and kind of tab things that I find particularly interesting. So far I'm really enjoying this. I do plan on trying to do a little bit more of the productivity videos in the future, so I'm curious to see how these types of books help me implement a better routine in my life. That is what I'm looking for at this moment. So I plan on finishing this book this month, as well as continuing on with the Full Metal Alchemist manga. I read the first deluxe edition last month and loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I love the brothers so much, and the magic system's so cool. So I was a little bit worried that just the format, I had never really read manga in the past, so I was just worried that that format of storytelling wouldn't work for me, but I'm so glad to say that it does. So I'm definitely continuing on with Full Metal Alchemist, as well as The Ultimate Spider-Man, which I read volume 1 last month. Loved it. I love Spider-Man so much, so I definitely plan on continuing on and trying to read all of the Ultimate Spider-Mans. All right, let me see if I can hold up my entire February TBR. It's a lot. I don't actually plan on getting to all of these books. It's kind of just like whatever I'm in the mood for, I will pick up. Yeah, this is a lot. So here is my tentative February TBR. Whew. We'll see how much reading I actually get done, especially since this is a short month. What am I doing to myself? I don't know. What are you most excited to read in the month of February? I would love to know. Leave those comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!